excited to do this video. For those of you who are new, hey, my name is LaDawn. This is the No Lie Naturally Me channel, and I'm so honored that you decided to join me today. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this demo, review, and tutorial. All right, so those of you who've been following me on Instagram know that I have been posting this hair like crazy. So about a week ago, I filmed an unboxing video for you guys. I received these amazing Afro Kinky clip-ins from a company called Amazing Beauty hair extensions. So I asked you guys for like suggestions in terms of how I should work with it and what kind of video I should create with you guys. And you suggested that I do a wash and go and work with the natural texture of the hair. All right, and then you said after that I should go ahead and do like a textured style, like a braid out, twist out, what have you. Well, as I told you in a recent video, I tried to do the wash and go, but that was a no-go. This Afro Kinky hair, as you saw in the unboxing video, is beautifully dense. The curls are, you know, tight and beautiful. And while that hair was beautiful, it just did not match my natural wash and go texture. My curls were much more loose. You guys know I have very fine, less dense hair, and it was just very difficult for me to blend my own hair texture with the Kinky Afro texture. So what I did was I did a 3-strand twist out, and I have been loving it ever since. So I'm going to show you how I accomplished this 3-strand twist out, blending my own natural hair with the Afro Kinky hair to get a seamless blended look. And then I'll come back and do a review of the hair itself. Okay, so I'm starting out on freshly washed and conditioned hair. I deep condition because I know I'm going to keep my hair put away for a little while. And so this section in the middle was sort of carved out so it could serve as my leave-in, and I'm just going to Bantu knot it so that it doesn't get in the way as I French braid the rest of my hair. I have quite a bit of leave out, I think, compared to most people, but that is because I do have fine, low density hair, and I find that this is the best amount of leave out to have so that I don't have to worry about the wefts being seen around the crown of my head. And now I'm carving out hair on the left and right side of my head, and the reason I'm doing that is so that you don't see where the clip-in wefts end and begin on either side of my head, and then I have a nice sort of, you know, hairline. It'll provide more versatility for me in terms of styling and things of that nature. With these clip-ins, I don't want to be worried about like the wefts being seen. All right, so now that I've carved out my sections, you're just going to kind of begin the process of French braiding your hair. I'm not going to show you that, guys, because you're going to see these were some struggle French braids. It was bad. All right, so I'm going to start out just by installing the 3-clip weft, and you can see the hair. It isn't super thick, but it does thicken up as you begin to work with it. But yeah, so I start by opening up the clips, and don't laugh at my cornrows, y'all. I know it was a struggle. It was a struggle night. Like, I have these nails on. It was so difficult. But I do suggest you do more braids than what I did, ideally. But yeah, these work just fine for my purposes. They won't be seen anyway. But I like to secure the middle clip first and then secure the clips on either side. I just feel like the clips are easier to work with that way. As you can see, the hair is very secure and it went in perfectly. So now I'm going to install the 4-weft or 4-clip weft. I cannot speak. I'm going to install that next. And what I like to do is use this 2-finger method. I don't know if that's a real method or not, but that's what I'm calling it. And install the middle clips first. And then you'll see me work my way out to the ends. I just feel like when you install the middle clip, it's easier to work with the ends, especially as the wefts get longer and longer, to make sure that you secure them evenly and you just have more control over things, I find. So Periodically while installing them, I did use a little bit of my Elucence Moisture Balancing Conditioner. It's my all-time favorite conditioner. And I did use it on this hair because I absolutely loved this hair. And I want it to last a long time. So this hair is damp, so I'm going in and adding a leave-in conditioner so that I can keep the hair nicely moisturized before I add my stylers, which you'll see me do just a little bit later. Make sure you get the ends of the hair. Yeah. So now I'm going to move on to the 5 clip wefts. I can't say it. And this time I'm only going to open up the middle clips. I'm going to leave the ones on the ends closed. That's because this weft is long, and to me, maybe it's because I'm a novice and this is the first time I'm doing this, it's just easier to open those clips when I'm ready to install them. The longer the weft, I feel like you want to really position it to make sure it ends where you need it to end. For me, I wanted the end of the weft to meet the area just before the leave out on the side of my hair began. That way I didn't have to worry about the wefts being seen, and it was just a better, sort of installation, and I was able to avoid having any lumps or bumps in the hair and that sort of thing. The other good thing about, installing the middle section first is that you can play around with it and kind of see if you want to reposition things. I did that on one side of my head because I felt like it wasn't necessarily as even as I wanted it. And it allows you to just have more control over the overall process and reposition things kind of as you go. So don't hesitate to do that when you're installing these wefts. All right, so now I'm going to go in. There were two clip wefts, so I'm going to go ahead and install those, and I install those toward the back of my leave out section, just to make sure that I'm covering it and I get right up close to where my leave out would begin, because I didn't want a huge gap there. And then I'm going to take that second 2 clip weft and I'm going to install that on the opposite side of the head. And you'll see in a moment, I actually overlap the 2 wefts. The reason I do that is because I didn't want there to be like a gap in between where the wefts ended and you just saw like that gap in the hair or anything like that. I also didn't want the braids beneath it along the top to be visible at all. So, it's kind of like curtains, how you overlap your curtains a little bit so you don't get that gap in the middle. That's essentially why I installed the wefts that way. So everything would just be seamless. And then they give you one final clip weft. I guess that's how you say it. And you can, I liked having the single clip weft because you could just put it where you want it to have more fullness. So I really liked that. All right, so now everything is installed and now it's time to begin to set the hair. And that is really, really critical to get a nice blend. So I'm going to start out by working on my leave-in first. I'm going to saturate it with water because I find when I'm doing 3-strand twist outs, the wetter the hair is, the more texture I get. And with this hair, you definitely want to have more texture. So I'm just going to take my Tangle Teaser, which I absolutely love because these bristles are so pliable. I love it. And I'm going to go through the hair just to make sure I don't have any kinks or anything, because I want my 3-strand twist to be as smooth and consistent as possible. All right, so now I'm going to go in and create my part. Now you're going to see me do this L part, and I'm going to tell you why I recommend this specific part in just a moment. But yeah, so see how that L is there? Now I rarely did a middle part with this, but it actually helps the hair to lay better when you're trying to cover the tracks. So you'll see that in part 2 of this video when I do the takedown, but it makes things so much, oh, excuse me, so much easier. So now I'm going to take this I'm not going to butcher that, but it's Aquamet Biologics butter. So I'm going to take this butter and I'm going to use it on my hair. Yes, my fine hair, and I'm going to use it on the extensions. So I love this butter. Now, I didn't use all that butter that was gone. My daughter has been using this. She has very thick, dense hair, and that's why I chose to use it on the Afro Kinky Curly clip-ins, because it works equally well on fine hair as it does very dense hair. So when you're selecting a product to work with, to set your style, if you're doing a braid out, twist out, whatever, process you're doing, you want to make sure you use a product that works well and consistently on both your texture of hair and the texture of the clip-ins you're using. That'll help you to have a more consistent style, and it'll help both sections to look more consistent when you're blending them and then as you wear the style. So I did a flat twist into a 3-strand twist, and I like to do that because, again, it helps the hair to lay better. Also, when you're separating, you don't have to do as much separating because, it's just by virtue of doing a flat twist. You create sections every time you flat twist on the scalp. So you want to make sure that you coil the ends, and you'll see why that's important. Yeah, see how you get that nice coil. My hair takes a minute to coil up, but you want to do that because it will make it easier for you to blend your hair in with the clip-ins as well. And it's just a nice way to kind of finish the ends of the hair. Okay, so yep, you want to coil that last section as well. All right, so now you can't forget about those edges on the side. So we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to wet those sections. We're going to add a little bit of butter, and then we're going to flat twist them, and they'll be done like that. Yes. So I didn't want to bore you guys with that process, because I figure you get the point at this point. All right. So one of the things about flat twists is that they can become loose. So what I do is I use a bobby pin to secure them. So I'll, turn them in the direction they were twisted. Tight, but not so tight that you're pulling on your edges or that it hurts or anything like that. That was a bad example. I'm going to show you again in a minute. But see how I'm turning it in the direction of the flat twist that's on the scalp, and then I'm just using a bobby pin to secure the end, because that's going to allow me to have more texture at my roots. A lot of times with flat twist outs, your roots are not going to be as textured if you have low density, really soft or fine hair. And so the bobby pins help you to get that effect. All right, so now I'm just going to do regular 3-strand twists on the rest of the hair. So you want to saturate it with water, and you want to go ahead and use your butter on the hair, work it in really well, and make sure that you're adding enough products on the end of the hair as well. And at some point, when you're using butters like this or any product on the hair, you do want to go ahead and clarify the hair eventually to lift it off, especially because these are, natural hair clip-ins. You want to treat them just like you would treat your own hair, and you wouldn't want to let butters kind of settle on your hair, because over a period of time, it's just going to prevent your hair from being as curly, and it's just going to look kind of blah, like hair looks when you need to clarify it. All right, so as you see, I am nicely coiling the ends, and I'm just going to repeat this process throughout. I think I ended up doing probably about 10 3-strand twists. So now they're done. Isn't she beautiful? No, she's tired. and she looks it. All right, so after you've done this, you want to take a scarf and wrap your head. I'm using my non-skid scarf, which I absolutely love. It is the only scarf that stays on my head overnight. So I love, love, love this thing. And it's also breathable enough that the twists have the ability to dry by morning. All right, so I'm just going to go to bed, and in part 2 of this video, I'm going to demonstrate to you guys the takedown and style, as well as the final review of the hair. All right, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Subscribe so you get a notification once it has uploaded. Bye, guys.